What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. Absolutely epic day. I want to go over some of the current data points and what really helped to drive it higher. So I want to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi was the stock to be in today. It did go up 6.57%. A lot of volatility, so 750 the high, 709 the low. A lot of volume though, so 51.3 million shares being traded, 43.6 is the average. Majority of the transactions that did occur today were true institutions, as you can kind of see. So these are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. I know I normally go through this relatively fast, so feel free to pause it and then you can kind of read line by line, but there was a lot of big transactions. So 4.48 million, 7.6, a lot of multi-million dollar transactions, 40.4, even first thing there was a couple big ones, 2.7 and then 1.5. So first thing, you did have this nice spike up correlated with options. Like I say, first thing, market makers were going to buy, I think it was roughly around 7 million shares. So that did attribute a lot of the volume to that, but still in general, big money was getting in. And there was no actual news from SoFi today, no SEC filings, nothing like that. Rather just optimism associated to potential rate cuts as usual. So Powell is having his speech this upcoming Friday, so the whole symposium, and it is estimated that he's going to come out and say that he's open to a 50 basis point cut. Wall Street doesn't really believe that as of right now, because right now it kind of shows still a 22.5% likelihood of a 50 basis point cut. If anything, it actually went down today slightly. It went from 25 to 22.5. But right now though, there is a 77.5% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut. And for the November 7th meeting, there is another 73.5% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut. So Wall Street seems to feel like it's going to be 25-25, so we'll just have to wait and see, but there is a lot of optimism associated to that, and SoFi would stand to benefit, as would the whole broader market, of course. But one additional thing that SoFi had that really helped to boost it higher was its technicals. So starting off, as I brought up in my video, I think it was yesterday or Saturday, I can't remember when I put it out, but beside the point, based on the technicals, it is now the second day above that 50-day moving average. So generally speaking, based on historical data, it does typically run between 20 to 30%, as I pointed out. So in general, I think that was also one factor why institutions were really buying it up, because in reality, it could have a nice test to around the $8 range sometime this week. There's a lot of big data points coming out this week that could really justify a push higher to that $8 range. I'm going to go over the options and everything and kind of break that down on what it's actually saying. Stochastic though, you do see it kind of somewhat neutral at the 48, but despite that though, you do see a nice bullish deviation, and number of retail investors have been buying up SoFi. So pretty good stuff in that regard. Shorts though, you did see them return around 50,000 shares, so they're kind of admitting defeat. Midway throughout the day though, they were returning, I guess at the low, if that makes sense, around 667,000. So I think, like I've kind of pointed out, I think that shorts are and have been overextended. So if SoFi does continue this nice momentum, shorts will be very much fucked by the end of this week. Pardon my French. So I think in general, that will be very good for SoFi, and that might be the kind of push that SoFi needs to get back above that $8 range. So we'll just have to wait and see, unfortunately, but 17.4% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 182.15 million shares. Cost to borrow average is 0.97, and then cost to borrow minimum. So this is something I did find abnormal. So if you do watch my channel, you always know that there's one stupid broker out there that that pays people negative 0.2%. It's always negative 0.2 all the time. But there was one change that did happen today to really try to drum up business, but now it is negative 0.28. So the 0.08 is a very minute change, but still something that they're trying to drum up business. So very interesting to see that change. So maybe the cost to borrow minimum might continue to drop, just once again to drum up business to really ensure that SoFi does go down. I really can't wait until that new SEC transparency rule does kick in, because that will really flip the whole game and really show a lot of transparency on who truly is shorting SoFi. And through that, I'm sure we'd be able to figure out exactly who this broker is, that mysterious broker. But Moving on, a ton of money was getting into SoFi through options. 7.3 million in calls, 3.12 million in puts. 51% of all the options being done today were optimistic and bullish. This is what the current open interest does look like. So for the August 23rd chain, you do have 26,000 at that 7. So you already did see a lot being hedged at that stage, but clearly SoFi had other plans and completely blew past that. Right now there is 13,000 at that 750, 5,000 at that 8, and then 6,000 at that 850. So in reality, SoFi could definitely run up very fast. So you don't see any substantial walls this upcoming week just yet. Things might change. Typically the first day and sometimes the second day you see back-to-back increases of roughly around 40%. So you might see some walls created at that 8, maybe 850 or possibly 750, but I think in general there's a lot of good momentum behind the scenes with SoFi, and clearly institutions do see that and are buying the hell out of SoFi. But right now with it at $7.46, it is exactly on this R3. So most likely it's going to flirt a little bit with that. So of course we do know 750 is going to be somewhat of a kind of resistance brought on by options, minor, very, very minor. But in general, just watch for this $7.46. And then right now I'm just looking at the 4-hour chart right now. So again, just kind of watch for that. Bigger picture, looking at the 1 day. So this is a little bit more stronger resistance and support points. You do see $7.98 and then $7.25. So most likely if it is able to get above that 750, next stop will be $7.98. So I don't know, not to kind of jinx or anything, but this is looking very good for a nice continuation of a run. So you have the technicals, optimism associated to rate cuts, shorts somewhat admitting defeat a little bit. We'll just have to wait and see what does happen, but they are very overextended and about to really get royally fucked, but who knows? Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you have been part of this group right here that has been buying up SoFi ever since it looks like around August the 6th. Give yourself a shout out in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And if you do like the channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships. Just launched them in the description below. So if you do that, I greatly appreciate that. With all that said, appreciate all of you guys watching.